I learned a lot of methods that really is helping me to ensure that while in class, I am able to handle learners with a mind that these learners are supposed to come out as teachers and be able to handle what is in the society.
Having acquired these kind of skills in course redesign workshop on how I can embed the gender responsive pedagogy in my teaching and make my students become gender responsive, it has actually changed my perspective of how I do things, how I run my classes, how I make my students interact with one another, how I develop my teaching and learning activities that are gender responsive. So it has made me be a gender responsive person in whatever that I do, that I need to think in mind, that I need to make an activity that is not gender biased.
The gist of the matter was improvement of the teaching methodology in the 21st century. Because as the world is moving at a greater speed, we are also supposed to transform the kind of learning into interests, needs, and the demand of the society, which really led me to acquire a certificate that I am very proud of really at the moment. Through this year, I was also able to realize that there were other issues that we require in the classroom when we don't have the time, because sometimes students are very far away. You can organize learning space anywhere, at home, in the churches, wherever they are able to do, so long as they are able to get the gadgets that would help them facilitate the learning. Besides, through this year also, we had community engagement, right, which was quite good. Here, there were many things, things like school practice, the way we engage the university with the school community. We engage the society, the community through the school teachers, the students, and some parents who are close to the school. And we realized that we have gaps that we are supposed to fill. And it's actually through the SIA which actually made us to learn a lot of those things.
With a transformative learning, we are given an opportunity to interact with our lecturers and give them our thoughts of what we think about specific topics. With the transformative learning, we are given opportunity to think beyond what we are taught in class and put ourselves into the situation. For example, as a human resource personnel, what would you do in a certain situation dealing within that specific sector? We are able to think within that world, which has enabled us to evaluate between what is happening in the real world and what we are studying.
First of all, we have learned about changing our mental ability of thinking, changing our mindset, that it's not only depending on employment, but we should nurture ourselves to self-employment.
Students being involved in the change that is coming, because I mean, you're teaching us, it's us the students you're teaching, and it's unrealistic if someone goes and plans your entire process without you getting involving us as learners. Maybe me as a learner being involved in that way, made me feel like I am valued. My opinion is valued. If I say something, it can be listened to. I have a platform to, air out my needs. It is so important, because this is what actually is lacking in the education system. So every time you engage a learner or a student, they feel wanted, they feel valued, and they feel like, they have something to contribute. They feel useful in the community. I think that's the most important thing that you can ever do to a learner. They feel that they have learned and they have something they can share with the community. They have something that they can contribute with the community. So every time you involve learners in the change making processes, I mean, it makes them feel like they are valued. I don't know how I could express it in more words, but it's really so important.
Had some of the lecturers from my faculty of agriculture participating, and after their participation in this year training, I saw a change because most of them have been teaching me from my year 1 and then also my year 3 and year 4 experience, and there was a different delivery system they were using to deliver lectures, not like how they used to come to class in my year 1 and year 2 and just teach. But after the training, I saw that when they come to class, they really want to ask what we know, ask about our ideas, and then they were like guiding us on what we already know. And it was very interesting from my year 3 and year 4 as compared to our boring class.
I feel very lucky actually to have been taught with one of the instructors who has been under the TCF project. And from that I can see that I see the differences from the classes that I have which are being conducted by the instructors who are under this project, because the classes are conducted in a way that is more participatory and allow us to share our views and contribute to the learning journey, and we are taken as partners in learning. So in that we feel as we can be open, share our views and challenges we face in our studies. And the instructors under this project have been very cooperative and very supporting and allowing us to be more open. So from this I can say that the TCF project is more into fostering, giving out skills to students to enable them to be able to solve the problem facing their communities and to develop the critical thinking through allowing us to think out of the box and to challenge the limitations of what could happen or what is more beyond what we study in class.
And from universities, as from graduates, it's provide them a better way of being the best persons which are going to be will serve the best for the employers, and that will result positively to the community, that is development to the communities. And for my future plans, that will enable me to have experience, exposure, as well as best person which will have a favorable position to compete with other peoples, and other graduates in terms of job seeking.
Previously, our teacher was teaching us, giving us different modules to catch up, but right now they are giving us some discussions so they can give us out what we as students we have in our own brain, so that we can develop the very critical thinking ability, and we can have an ability to execute different ideas, and that will be helpful in building our own future business.
Even going to class, I know that I'll be having something to say. Before every class, I have to prepare to go for classes, because I know the lecturer is going to ask me what I know and how this problem, how do I think I can solve it and all that. And that has really prepared me. It helped me to think and also be innovative, because during classes we bring challenges, and then they ask for solutions. So even in my workplace, I know there will be various challenges and how I can find solutions and be innovative.
First of all, the skills we're getting from, this kind of education, they're important both in the university and outside. Personally, from my experience with they need us, for example, the portfolios, because I was basically talking about the instance of portfolios, the instance of internet and critical thinking, something like that, relating the education inside and, what happens outside the community. This is something I can use even when I'm not at school. I don't need it only for the exam. I can even use it outside school, and that's the most important thing, because what we learn here should actually help us even outside the community. So that kind of education, that kind of skill, that kind of learning is helping both in school and outside school.
Speaking about specific topics, which gives us a wider experience and a wider view to know more about specific topics. With the transformative learning, Moodle has been a very good thing to us. With a transformative learning, Moodle helps us to engage, write our thoughts. Sometimes not all of us are able to talk out. Some people are afraid to speak and all that. But with this transformative learning, due to the journals and forums found on Moodle, we are able to write our thoughts about specific topics. With this transformative learning, it has really enabled us to think beyond, and I'm so proud of it.
To be honest, I would love everyone to adopt this. To actually try to see this is a golden chance. To be honest, it is a golden chance of how we could change our education system, because we can see there are a lot of things that are not aligning with what we really want our graduates to become. So it is a very good chance for us to invest in this, so that we can transform our universities, we can transform our graduates, so that they can be employable outside when they get out of our institution.
My call on everybody is that let us participate in this community, in this transformative learning. We should also engage in a community engagement. What I realize is that these kind of methods that we learn is still very useful, and if there is any chance at all, every lecturer should be actually involved.
I would really recommend that universities, the project should be extended and also scaled to other universities that don't have this project, because it is very important. Like I said before, we have had so many programs, symposium in my faculty, and always employers always say we don't have students with the skills we need. We only have students who know things they are being taught in class. They don't think out of the box on how to solve problems and how to give good reports and every other thing. But with the TESIA project, it challenges you, it gives you a platform and also pathways on how to do all these things that will make you a very ready person for employment, and also be an entrepreneur by yourself, or doing what you like doing and what you enjoy doing.
So I'm seeing TESIA not leaving the university, and I wish this then scales up to the entire university and then to the entire country and region as a whole. For me, TESIA can never leave anyone the same again.